Free event, solar eclipse party. Most kids go back to school that day. Can it be done on the weekend? Did this lady just ask to reschedule the sun? Technically an eclipse involves the moon, so she's asking to reschedule both the sun and the moon. Welcome to rSlash entitled parent. Shout out to Brandon Ledesma for suggesting this. Now, these posts are much longer. They're more like stories than tiny little like 2 or 3 sentence conversations. So this is going to be a little bit different from my other videos, but we've got some real treats in here. So be patient. The payoff is worth it. And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe and let me know down in the comments which subreddit you'd like me to cover next. Okay, first off, I am a model railroader. Specifically, I model an O scale. For reference, that means that the average locomotive is about 3 to 4 inches tall and up to a foot long. One summer, I was taking part in a model railroad fair at our local mall where I was displaying some of my models. Being that I'm from the US, the fact that I modeled the British Isles meant that my display really stood out. Now, as there's always kids at these types of shows, I had taken to putting a plexiglass side around my layout to prevent children from reaching in and touching things or damaging various parts of the structures and models that went with the railroad. While I was watching one locomotive I had just received leave the staging area, it's a small 3-track system that lets me funnel trains into the layout and then out as needed. I remember this one lady making comments about the cute little trains. Getting that train running at a nice but slow pace, I approached her and smiled, asking if there's any questions she had. The lady never missed a beat, pointing to the train I had just started and told me that her son liked trains and I should sell her one of them. Now, truth be known, this wasn't an uncommon thing to have happened. People, usually other modelers, may ask if some units are up for sale. Sometimes they are, but typically not. I explained to her that the locomotive wasn't for sale, and that even if it was, she wouldn't have liked the price anyway, noting that the engine she was pointing at had cost me close to $1,000. The lady was having none of it and offered me $10 for it, since it was obviously a toy. I ignored her and went back to getting the next train set up on the staging track, waiting for that one to return. As I do this, I hear an odd sound and look up just in time to see the lady picking the locomotive up off the track and moving to hand it to her kid. I called out for her to stop, which may have been a mistake, as she promptly dropped it on the ground. The engine, though somewhat robust and heavy, was made of rather soft brass. When it hit the ground, there was a sickening crunch. I knew from the sound that the engine was done for, broken beyond repair. The lady just looked down at it, shrugged, and kicked it back under the table before starting to walk off. Thankfully, security quickly caught up with her and detained her while police were called. All the while she kept saying, "It's just a toy. Men don't play with toys," while ignoring the fact she was surrounded by dozens of train layouts with just as many grown men showing off their work. Police arrested her on destruction of private property charges, while the mall itself barred her from ever setting foot on the property again. Later, with her information on hand from the police report, I filed a case against her for the replacement of the locomotive. You won't believe it, but she had the gall to try to convince the judge that it was just a toy and that the receipts I had for purchase of the locomotive weren't real, saying that she had seen the exact same locomotive at Walmart herself. Well, the case ended up in my favor, with her having to pay me replacement costs as well as some punitive damages. The judge ended the case with a simple warning that just because you want something doesn't give you the right to simply take it. From the criminal side of things, I think the lady ended up with 40 or so hours of community service and a substantial fine as well. Justice served. In first grade, I caught pneumonia. I was in the hospital for approximately 2 weeks if I remember correctly. I spent my 6th birthday in the hospital, which is right around Thanksgiving. For my birthday, I got a winter Barbie doll that I absolutely adored. A few times a day, I would go for a walk throughout the hospital while someone cleaned the room, I guess. When I came back, my Barbie was nowhere to be found. We eventually found it, but recently, 15 years later, my mom told me what really happened. Apparently, the lady who cleaned the room stole my Barbie. When we realized it was missing, my mom asked the nurses if they had seen it. They obviously all said they didn't know, but my mom saw the top of the Barbie's furry hat in one of the nurse's purse. My mom pointed it out and the nurse instantly grabbed her purse and starts going off about how her daughter deserves the Barbie and I'm just a spoiled brat. Me, the 6-year-old child that's in the hospital for her birthday, is a spoiled brat. The other nurses were appalled and called security to get the doll from her. Needless to say, she was fired. What's worse than stealing from a child? How about stealing from a sick child that's hospitalized? What a piece of shit human being. Today I didn't have school, so I decided, since it was a pretty sunny day where I live, to take my little dog, a 6-month-old King Charles Cavalier, for a walk. My dog's name is Lily, by the way. Everything go well at first. I'm just walking around in my neighborhood looking at how adorable my puppy is as she walks in front of me and smells everything. At some point I walk past a coffee shop. My parents and I visit this coffee shop very often, so the staff that work there know me personally, and I can safely say that we have a very friendly relationship. And there is a mother, our future entitled parent, sitting on the outside tables of the coffee shop with her child that was about 9 to 10 years old. I would normally just walk past her, but her child got excited seeing my dog and started screaming that she wants to pet it. So I just smile and lower myself to stand beside Lily as the little girl comes over to pet it. The first few seconds are going great. The little girl pets her head gently and asks me about my dog's gender, how old she is, and etc. Then, out of the blue, she starts pulling my dog's ears roughly and Lily starts whimpering. Me takes kid's hands off my dog's ears as softly as possible. She doesn't like that, sweetheart, it hurts her ears. Entitled parent stands up from her chair aggressively, surprising both me and her child. Excuse me? Did you just touch my kid? I'm sorry if that bothered you. She just pulled my dog's ears and I pulled her hands away to make her stop doing it. It won't happen again. So, it's a dog. She is an amazing girl and an excellent student. Let her play however she wants. No, it's my dog and I don't want your daughter to hurt her. At this point, she started getting pissed and pulled her child beside her, so I stood up as well and took Lily in my arms. Mommy, I want the dog. The entitled parent whispers something in her kid's ear that I didn't hear, but it made her kid smile widely. Let the dog down this instant and let daughter's name play. I look at her, shocked from the way she talks to me, but I still have a hope, so I simply say, no. And oh boy, here we go. Who the hell do you think you are? My daughter wants to pet the dog. Give the dog to her now. I don't know how, but still somehow calm. I'm the owner of the dog and I don't want to do that. I try to walk past her, but she blocks my way with her body. My daughter wants the dog. I tried to be polite, but you are so rude and terrible. Give the dog to me. And she seriously pushed me and tried to take Lily away from my arms. I somehow managed to step back on time and not lose my balance. The coffee shop manager, that is also a friend of mine, appears and separates us, since we were practically shouting at this point. Is there a problem here? Yes, there is. This girl has taken our dog away from my daughter's arms and refused to give it back. She claimed my dog as hers. I was so stunned that I couldn't even move my mouth to defend myself. The coffee manager pointed at Lily. You were talking about this dog? Yes! I am sorry, ma'am, but I happen to know for a fact that this is her dog, not yours. No! It's our dog! My daughter wants it! No, it's not, and I don't care if she does. I'm going to politely ask you to leave now. She hissed some offensive words, made a little more of a scene, and then started gathering her things. I just went inside to drink a little water because I was shook. Before they leave, I heard the little brat saying something along the lines of, "But you said this would work. You said I could have the dog and take it home." No, sorry, little girl. I realize you're kind of a victim here, but you're gonna have to learn an important life lesson. Your mother is a shitty human being, and she lies to you and tries to steal. So the sooner you figure out that life lesson, the better. I was sitting in the dentist's waiting room with my mom. Another mother and her son were sitting across from us, and I noticed that they are both eyeing my DS Lite I was playing. My mom gets up to go to the bathroom, and I noticed that the other mother had a glint in her eye when my own mother left. As soon as mom is gone, the other mother encourages her son, let's call him Timmy, to go up and stand in front of me. What? Give him your computer game, he's been waiting for it. What? No, I bought this. Don't lie to me. What teenage girl buys a baby's toy? Timmy deserves it more than you. Give it to him. At this moment, I pack my DS bag into my handbag and Timmy starts trying to take my bag from me. Other mother has no problem with this. Thankfully, my own mom came back, Timmy trying to rob me, and tells off other mother for not controlling her kid. Is this actually how entitled parents just get all the toys in their kid's life? They just go around from kid to kid trying to manipulate them into giving them their toys? I mean, how often does this actually work? Like, oh, lady, you treat me like a piece of shit and you insult me and you act entitled. Sure, take my free stuff. Take my hard-earned property. I definitely want you to have it. Yeah, go ahead. All right, that was r/entitled parents. Not sure about this subreddit because everything is a super long story, so I can't cover quite as many post as I would in my other videos. Let me know what you think of this type of content down in the comments. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.